Okay, we're going to start working with the software a lot now. And before we get too far in, I want to show you how you're going to export your maps from ArcMap. So you're going to be working with ArcMap. You're going to be creating maps or analyses. And then you're often going to want to take those maps and put them into a Word document or a PowerPoint document. And so I'd like to show you a couple different issues that might arise as you do that. So the easiest way to get a map is to just do a screen capture. And there are several ways to do screen captures. There's something called the Windows Snipping Tool. And if you just search for that on your Windows computer, you'll find it. You can also just hit the print screen button, and that will capture the entire screen. And then you'll have an image of the screen, which you can paste into your Word or your PowerPoint document. Now this works very well if it's just going to be something like a Word document that you're going to look for on a monitor. But if you're trying to do something larger, like a poster or something with some good quality, this is not very good for that because the resolution will not be very high. So let me just show you an example of how to do a screen capture. And I'm going to go over to ArcMap. And now I have a program called Print Screen that's running right now. And this is another option. And this is just like the Windows Snipping Tool. Basically, it just allows you to draw a rectangle around part of the screen and capture that image. And so you can Google that, or like I said, you can just use the Windows Snipping Tool. So I'm going to try and do this. So now, again, the reason I'm able to do this is because I'm using a program called Print Screen, not just the Print Screen button. But the Windows Snipping Tool will do the same thing. So if I wanted to get a copy of this map to put in Word, I would just do this. And then if I jump over to Word, I can hit Control V, and there's a picture of my map. And like I said, it looks good here in Word, but you can't use it in anything larger than this. So I'm going to undo that for now. And so that's just an example of capturing the screen, which is the easiest way to get your map. Now, a better way, if you need more quality, is to export the map from ArcMap. And ArcMap gives you this option. And then when you export the map, you have several actually different formats. The two that you're most likely to use are JPEGs, which you're familiar with. Now, if you export as a JPEG, that's usually your best bet. It has the best bang for the buck. You know, it looks good, but they're small file sizes. However, it is possible that the resolution might be too low for what you want to do. And it's possible that the file size can get larger. And we'll show you how to adjust those here in a second. The other option that's good to use is called an EMF. Which is an enhanced metafile, which is another type of image document. And the difference here is that the EMF files are very large, much larger than JPEGs, but they scale well. Let me give you an example. So here are two images of the same map. This is a pond that we measured bathymetry on. And on the left is the JPEG image, and on the right is the enhanced metafile version of the image. And so the first thing you notice is on the left, the JPEG is much smaller than the EMF. But these days, file size is not nearly as important as it used to be. However, it's never a bad idea to keep your eye on the file size. Now I'm going to show you the practical difference between these two. So let me jump out of this slideshow, and here, look at this JPEG. I'm going to drag it up here, And now watch these stars for the quality. As I make that JPEG bigger, and I'll bring it to the front here, that's not a very good looking image, right? And you're familiar with this with JPEGs, that as you drag them and make them bigger, they pixelate, and they don't look very good. So I'm going to Control Z to bring that back. Now, the same map exported from the same version of ArcMap, but as an enhanced metafile. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to enlarge it. Now, look at those stars. Although the edge of this still looks rough, that's because the original looked like that. The original was a raster in ArcMap. But look at those stars. See how crisp and clear they are, no matter what size? Those stars stay crisp and clear. That's the advantage of an enhanced metafile, is that you can resize it and it will still look exactly the same. It won't pixelate. The trade-off, again, is that the file size is large. Now, these two types of images are just extended versions of what we talked about earlier. One is a raster image and one is a vector image. And you remember a raster is a grid of cells that has a particular value. And if you look closely and zoom in closely on any JPEG, you'll see that it is just a bunch of pixels or cells, and they have one particular color. But when you zoom out, it looks like a picture. But the difference is, as you zoom in, it starts to pixelate and it looks bad. And again, you've done this with regular JPEGs. You work with them all the time. The enhanced metafile is a vector type of image, which means that instead of using pixels to draw the image, it uses mathematical equations to draw the image. And this allows it to scale to any scale and still look good. It's just a bigger file. So that's the difference between these two. There are other types of images that you can save, but these are the two you're most likely to use. Now, when you have that image, you're usually going to paste it into Word. Certainly for the homework, that's what you're going to do. And sometimes when you paste an image into Word, it doesn't behave as you would expect it to. And so I want to show you some suggestions to make those images paste into Word better. And I've put a handout on the Canvas page that details a lot of this information as well. So let me show you another example here. So I'm going to tab over to ArcMap. And so let's say I want to export this map and put it into Word. So I come up here, I go to File, Export Map, and you see here I have the option to save as type, and right now it's going to save it as an EMF. I'm going to go ahead and change that to a JPEG, but you see all the other different forms that you can save your map as. But we'll use JPEG most of the time. And I want to save this into my GIS class folder that I made earlier. And it's already got a name. And then when you look down here in the options, you see you can adjust the resolution. 96 dpi is too low. That won't look good. I suggest you change this to 300. That's probably overkill. That's probably bigger than it needs to be, but this will guarantee that your image will look good. On format, I'm going to leave it with the maximum JPEG quality, 24-bit true color. Now, once you change these once, you probably won't have to change them again. And I'm going to hit save. And so instead of doing a screen capture, now ArcMap is actually making a JPEG and exporting it. And so I'm going to go ahead and find that image, which is in this folder. And here's the image, and I double click it to look at it. And you see that's a very high quality JPEG image. And it looks a lot better than the screen capture I did. But for a lot of things, the screen capture is good enough. Now I want to paste this into my Word document. So I'm going to right click and choose copy. And I'm going to go to my Word document. And like I said, there are several different ways you can paste an image into Word. I'm going to show you my favorite. First, I'm going to put a bunch of blank lines in so I have somewhere to paste it. That's crucial to my method. Now I'm going to hit Control V and just paste it in there. Well, that seems very simple, but here's the difference, or here's the subtlety you need to understand. I'm going to, while the picture's selected, I'm going to go to Format, and I'm going to look at Wrap Text. And you see that my picture has the text, or that my picture sits in front of text. And I think that is the best setting, because it sits in front of text, which means that I can drag it and set it, and wherever I put it, it's just going to sit there. Now, if I change that to in line with text, which is often a default, you see I can't drag it off to the side. I can drag it up and down, but I can't really drag it and put it where I want to put it. Now, the advantage of the in line with text is that it stays in line with the text. But I think this is harder to work with. Now you can come here and you can change the settings too to in front of text, which I think is your best bet, because then you can place it wherever you want. The trick is you have to hit a bunch of blank lines and paste it into those blank lines. But now, as you add typing, you see it will move with the text. And I can make this the default by coming over here, and depending on your version of Word, it might look a little different. But I want to go over to the Word options, and I want to go to, maybe proofing. And I want to scroll down, and it's not proofing. It might be general. And it's not general. Maybe it's advanced. My version is under advanced. And if you scroll down here to cut, copy, and paste, you see insert paste pictures as, and I have mine set to in front of text because I think that's the best. Okay. So that is my example of how to paste images into Word.